Chapter 12, Water and Life. We know that life on Earth depends on water, but why? What is it about water that enables it to support life? The answer may lie in its ability to conduct electricity. Electrical conductivity depends on charged particles. Most atoms are electrically neutral, but they can become electrically active when they gain or lose electrons and become ions. Metals, graphite and water can also conduct electricity. Water is an oxygen atom combined with two hydrogen atoms. In this combination, the electrons belonging to the hydrogen are predominantly in the orbit of the oxygen because oxygen atoms are electron hungry. The result is electrons are more likely to be found around the oxygen atom of the water molecule than the two hydrogen atoms. The two hydrogen atoms act as horns of positive charge, while the oxygen acts as a belly of negative charge. This electric dipole of water sets up an electric force of attraction between one water molecule and another. A weak belly-to-horn bond occurs between them, which is called hydrogen bonding. So this is the picture I have in the book of the water molecule, you see, with the two hydrogen atoms acting as horns of positive charge connected to the oxygen atom, which acts as a belly of negative charge. And then one water molecule is attracted to another, belly to horn, and they form a liquid crystal, and this is called hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen bonding and the dissociation of some water molecules into charged ions enables water to conduct electricity and to dissolve salts. As they dissolve, the salts release charged ions into the water. That greatly increases its electrical conductivity. This could explain why salt water is the medium in which living organisms first formed on Earth. Biological life depends on the electrical conductivity of salty water. In salt water, ions are called electrolytes. In living organisms, salty water is called plasma. The fluidity and electric activity of watery plasma may be the nearest thing on Earth to electrically active cold plasma in space. If life depends on electric activity, it would make sense that a planet containing an abundance of salt water would be ideal for establishing life in atomic matter. This may be why biological life emerged in the salty sea. The biological cell is essentially a drop of salty water suspended in a gel of protein. The electrical activity of life in the cell, made possible by the salt water, was detected as an electric field around cells and multicellular organisms by an emeritus professor of medicine at Yale University. In the 1930s, Professor Harold Saxton Burr measured weak electric fields in and around living organisms. He named these the electrodynamic life fields, or L fields. His research was extensive. Burr published around 30 papers in which he presented evidence that the subtle L field had a major impact on the development and morphology of living organisms. In his book on the life field, Blueprint for Immortality, Burr wrote, and I quote him here, "When a cook looks at a jelly mold, she knows the shape of the jelly will turn out of it. In much the same way, inspection with instruments of an L field in its initial stage can reveal the future shape or arrangement of the materials it will mold. When the L field in a frog's egg, for instance, is examined electrically, it is possible to show the future location of the frog's nervous system because the frog's L field is a matrix which will determine the form which will develop from the egg." The electrodynamic L field has holographic properties in that every portion of the life field contains the blueprint of the entire organism. This is displayed in the early stages of its development. if the cells of an embryo are divided in half, each half will develop into a completely formed organism. This occurs with identical twins. Just as the division of a hologram results in complete images, so the division of the embryo results in identical twins. Like the hologram, every part of the L field is also called the biofield, is a blueprint of the whole. In her book, The Field, Lynn McTaggart cites a number of scientists associated with universities in the USA, France, Germany, and Russia, who discovered a close association of electromagnetic fields with life. The question that goes with these discoveries is how these weak electric fields could overlay and interpenetrate a body of atomic matter when very strong electric fields occur inside atoms between orbiting electrons and protons in the nucleus. How can the electric fields of life operate over these powerful electric fields? The subtle electric fields of life could only influence atomic matter if they managed to avoid direct interaction with the electric fields within atoms and between atoms and molecules. That might be possible if the L fields were formed of superenergy. Superenergy can interact with forms of matter in the physical world of energy without interference from physical energy fields. This is because physical energy does not interact with superenergy, as superenergy exists out of the space and time of physical energy, while superenergy can interact with physical energy because physical energy exists within the space-time continuum of superenergy. The principles of energy, subsets, and coincidence would make it possible for a field of consciousness in superenergy to overlay a biological cell with no interference from the physical electromagnetic fields. The superenergy electromagnetic fields could transfer vibrations to a body of physical energy. These vibrations could transfer information into the physical dimension through resonance. So what I'm saying here is that the arrangement between physical energy and superenergy, where physical energy is a subset or a part of the space-time continuum of superenergy, means that fields of consciousness, electromagnetic fields in the realm of superenergy, can interact with physical matter without the physical matter disrupting their interactions, because the physical matter does not interact with the superenergy directly. So, you can see the way the whole thing is tying up the need for this idea of realms of energy beyond the speed of light, to make sense of interactions between fields of consciousness and biological systems like our physical bodies. And the key to these interactions is a process called resonance, which I'm going to speak about in great detail as we go on. Vibrations can be transferred between matching forms by resonance. For example, resonance occurs between a sounding tuning fork and a piano wire tuned to the same frequency. In the interface of coincident matching forms in the dimension of superenergy and physical energy, there is a possibility that resonance may occur. I need to read that again, I'm stumbling. Vibrations can be transferred between matching forms by resonance. For example, resonance occurs between a sounding tuning fork and a piano wire tuned to the same frequency. In the interface of coincident matching forms, the dimensions of superenergy and physical energy, there is a possibility that resonance may occur. Resonance occurs between tuned coils in radio sets and broadcast electromagnetic waves. This is also how televisions work. Resonance between vibrating waves of superenergy and coils of physical energy could enable the transfer of information between the dimensions through DNA, because DNA is coiled in the nuclei of biological cells. I believe the coil structure of DNA could enable DNA resonance to occur between the fields of consciousness and living organisms to drive the process of evolution. So that ends the chapter on water and life. The idea I have is, this is just my little story, that once upon a time there were these space beings formed out of plasma. And the whole universe is filled of these intelligent life forms that have been there for billions of years. And they look down, at these tiny little planets that are floating around, that are formed of atomic matter. And one of them says to the others, wouldn't it be fun if we could go down there and establish life on those little planets, little rocky planets? And the other one says, don't be stupid, can't do that, that's atomic matter. Doesn't conduct electricity. Worst stuff in the universe. But the first plasmic being, space being, says, oh, come on, don't be such an old stuff. Let's go for an adventure. Let's see what we can do. Let's go down to these planets. So they come down, they do a search of the planets, and lo and behold, they find a planet that's full of salty water that conducts electricity. And one says to the other, come on, let's give it a go. Let's see if we can create life in that little watery planet. And lo and behold, when you read the Bible in Genesis, it begins, quite close to the beginning, it said, and God moved over the waters. So I'll leave you that thought.